Alrighty, welcome everybody. Welcome to the 91st episode for BTL and the 13th episode for Doug's Dugout. Doug, welcome back.
Hey, I'm glad to be back. How's things going,
Yes.
Danny?
Well, like I said, I'm kind of was a dead man walking. A couple of days ago, I was in the hospital and spent about 4 days. Still don't know a heck of a lot of what went wrong, but I'm glad to be back. Glad to be back in front of the camera and the mic once again, at least for a little while. So, just glad to be back at this point. But
Well, I'm glad you're out of the hospital. I'm glad
yeah,
you're out of the hospital,
that's for
and
sure.
I'm sure you was taken care of by Brownsville's finest.
Oh, I was. I was treated like royalty, no doubt about that. At a very, as I joked around, I was staying at the world's most expensive hotel.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you was treated like John Fetterman.
Oh, better than that. Better than that. Hey, speaking of John Fetterman, I put a post out on Facebook. I'm planning to buy a Dallas Cowboy hoodie. So when I actually run for the U.S. Senate down the road, that's going to be my official attire.
There you go. I like Gutfield the other day. I occasionally watch Gutfield's dialogue.
Yeah.
Or his monologue, and he introduced Fetterman's father, and they shined a picture of the original Frankenstein on the screen.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's kind of bad that, they're kind of lowering their standards when it comes to dress. I mean, I'm not sure if I'm a big proponent of a four-piece suit, but definitely a hoodie, shorts, and sandals is probably not a very good impression. I could see business casual, something like that, but I don't necessarily think that you know dressing it completely down. Even though I'm dressed down today, but that's by doctor's orders,
um, it's just when you thought the standards of the Senate couldn't get any lower.
right? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, but definitely, as Susan Collins said, she was going to wear a bikini. Susan Collins, 85 years old. Imagine that.
About like Diane Feinstein putting racing stripes on a wheelchair, I guess, huh?
I guess so. Anyway, Doug, what's the latest on the MLB?
Well, it's getting down to crunch time here. We've only got 1 week of the season left. Okay, and then we get into the October playoff season.
Right.
There's been some division winners that
Correct.
have clinched. A lot of the superstars have gone down for the season that aren't in the race. I see Trout's out for the rest of the year, and Otani's out for the rest of the year. And of course, so the Cardinals, we've lost for the first time in his career. Nolan Arenado's out for the season.
Wow.
He's had some back issues. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason why he should get hurt. So like today, the Cardinals are playing. The only guy playing is Goldschmidt. That's a regular. All
Mm-hmm.
the rest of them are up from Memphis. But
Wow.
the kids are showing some stuff. But Contreras is out, the catcher. So they're not going to. These teams, they're getting ready for next year already. That are out of the race.
Yeah, I'm trying to find that updated map here, and I know that I saw it on the computer, but I can't find it on the iPad view. Hold on 1 second. Let's see if I can find
It might be a little too early for that, Danny.
it.
Probably maybe next week we'll know for next week we'll know what the playoff is going to
Okay.
be.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure what I was looking at then. Let's see here. Well, let's go
Yeah,
ahead and flip over to the virtual screen, and then we can go over the standings. And the standings do have the clinches, so let me
yeah.
go let
So
me go ahead and do that real quick.
okay,
Alrighty, so you should have the standings there, and I believe that the X's, if I go scroll down, the X's means that they've clinched a playoff berth, and the Y's mean that they've clinched their division. So let's start off with the American League East. It says there that Baltimore and Tampa Bay both have clinched a playoff spot.
Yeah, I can't see the screen, but I can
Oh, I'm
talk it
sorry.
though.
I'm sorry.
Uh,
There we go. Let me get that up. There we go.
yeah, okay. Baltimore. They've with the X means they clinched it. Tampa
Right.
Bay, they've clinched a playoff deal. So, hey, both teams are a force to be reckoned with. Baltimore. They're playing good ball. Their pitching may be in suspect,
Mm-hmm.
but on those short series like that, you get a lot of you got a days of rest. So they can do it. They can do it for maybe with two pitchers, maybe
Right.
three pitchers at the most.
And Tampa
Tampa
Bay.
Bay's probably got the better pitching,
Mm-hmm.
and um, their second baseman is on. Last time I looked, he was on fire. What's it, a Raz, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's man, he's as on fire as a hitter. I'm gonna go with once we get into the playoffs. I think I'm gonna go with probably Tampa Bay over Baltimore.
Okay.
I like what Tampa Bay's been doing.
Okay. And obviously, the last three teams have a couple of games still ongoing. You've got Toronto looking to play New York, the New York Yankees, I think on the 26th. Is that right? 26th?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then you've got the Yankees right now. They're playing Arizona, I think. Is it AZ? Yeah, Arizona. And then Boston is playing the White Sox as we speak.
Yeah.
So, but those
Uh,
guys are pretty much out of it, right?
yeah, they're playing their kids or second stringers. All their stars are gone.
Yeah.
Okay, they're some mysterious injury or whatever.
Yeah. And then in the
Okay.
American League Central, you've got the Minnesota Twins. They've clinched their division.
Yeah, how about that? Minnesota Twins, they've clinched it. Um, I watched a little bit of that game yesterday between the Twins and who was it? White Sox or somebody?
Mm-hmm.
There's some excitement there in Target Field there in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Um, that's a weak division anyway. Um, I think they're on their way.
Yeah.
So good for the
Any
Twins.
any wild card contenders there at all?
Mm, I don't think so.
No.
I think that division is so weak. I don't. It's so weak that there's nobody in that division that can compare to. They'll probably pick the team from the other divisions.
Yeah. All right. So, as usual, you've got Cleveland, Detroit, the White Sox, and Kansas City. They're still playing a
Yeah,
couple of teams. Baltimore, Cleveland today, LA Angels. Minnesota's actually playing the LA Angels as the today, and
that's who I saw last night. That's who I saw. The Angels. Yeah,
yeah, and then
yeah.
Detroit's playing Oakland. White Sox are playing Boston, and of course Kansas City is playing Houston. Um, has your daughter gone back to see any more Twin baseball games since the last
No,
time? Or
no, they haven't gone back.
yeah,
Her husband's not a huge baseball fan.
okay,
Uh, and she's pregnant, and she's been
ah,
up and down with pregnancy problems.
yeah,
So
yeah,
and so
yeah. And then of course the American League West, you've got Texas back on top there, 86 wins, 68 losses, followed by Houston,
yeah, that
85
seems to be the
wins
big
and
battle
70
right now.
losses.
Texas and Houston.
Yeah. So you
Yeah,
think they're going they're gonna chug it out. And who do you think? What does
And
Doug's
they're going to
crystal
beat
ball
up on
says?
each other. Yeah, they're going to, they're going to beat up on each other. I think Texas is, there's an ex Cardinal named Jordan Montgomery
Uh huh.
that's pitching very good for him. That they got on a trade. Um, you know, I think I'm going to pick. I think Houston's going to make the playoffs, but they're they can't do it every year. I think Texas is going to win the division.
Yeah. Yeah. And then of
Yeah,
course you've got
yeah,
the bottom three still playing some games. They're Seattle's playing Texas today.
yeah. How many
You've got
games is Seattle out?
Seattle is 84 wins and 70 losses, so they're just what a game and a half? No, 2 games out. Is
And
it?
they got a chance of hitting that other wild card booth.
Yeah.
You know, just
So
like last year.
yeah,
Angels are way out of it, of
yeah, and
course.
of course Oakland was
And
way out of it a long time ago.
yeah,
Yeah.
they were out of it 1st of April.
And then, of course, the National League East. You've got Atlanta. They've clinched their division, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
And then,
Atlanta just a powerhouse. I mean, Ronald Acuna Jr.'s got 40 homers and like 40 stolen bases or some ridiculous amount. He's just, he's having a career year, and he's not the only one. I mean, they got, Matt Chapman. They got just a powerhouse of a lineup, and they got there's a pitcher, and there's a pitcher named Strider that he's got over 300 strikeouts this year, and he was hurt for a little while,
yeah,
and overall, there's just a great team.
yeah.
And
Anybody?
Philadelphia, they're coming on strong. Philadelphia, they you can't argue with Bryce Harper,
Yeah,
and they after the All Star break, they've been playing pretty good ball just like last year.
yeah, yeah. Well, then you've got the rest of the teams. Miami, the New York Mets, and Washington, obviously, that are still playing
Yeah,
some games, but they seem to be far fetched out. That's for sure.
yeah, and we've said this many times. Probably the most improved team this year was the Miami team,
Yeah,
led by an ex Cardinal named Skip Schumacher. Skip's done a really great job with that team. So
yeah. And then, of course, you've got in the NL Central, you've got Milwaukee. They've clinched a playoff
yeah,
spot at this point.
yeah, they played the Cardinals this week in St. Louis, and they kind of cleaned up on them.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not much. The pitching on Milwaukee's is too good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, their starting pitching, their middle inning pitching, and their closer is all good. And just think they traded away Josh Hader last year,
Mm-hmm.
and Josh Hader's like the best relief pitcher in baseball right now,
Yeah.
to San Diego. So but the Cubs are hanging in there. I think the Cubs are going to make the playoffs.
Yeah. Then you've got Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and of course your Redbirds, Doug.
Redbirds. What can I say about the Redbirds? The only thing I can say about the Redbirds has been the last 2 or 3 weeks here. It's been exciting to watch Jordan Walker and Mason Wynn to hit to really rise to the occasion. Jordan Walker, our right fielder, he's 21 years old. Mason Wynn, he's a shortstop. He's another 21-year-old. And I was telling Diva the other day is that look at the lineup. That whole lineup the Cardinals are playing now, with the exception of Goldschmidt,
Mm-hmm.
and you just can't get Goldschmidt out of the lineup. He went to Marmo and he said he wanted to play every day, just like they were in it. And
Yeah.
he just won't come out of the lineup. But anyway, all the players on there we saw the last 2 years Corpus, up at
Yeah.
Corpus Christi. Okay, they played for the Springfield Redbirds, and they came down to Corpus Christi to play the Hooks. And you just go through that lineup. We saw Mason Wynn play there, met his parents and all that kind of stuff. Jordan Walker was there. Luke Baker is playing, which is a DH for the Cardinals. Saw him play there. Even Lars Nootbaar, because 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when we went to Corpus Christi, okay, I saw this ball player up there with his weird name, Lars Nootbaar. What
Mm.
a name, right? And he's playing every day for the Cardinals center fielder.
Oh wow.
And yeah, and the whole lineup is just nothing the players that we've seen in the last couple seasons up at Corpus Christi.
Yeah.
So you know the Cardinals got a pretty good farm system,
Yeah.
and not only that is that if you're a baseball fan, if you want to and keep an eye on ball players coming up, go to the minor league teams. They're
Right.
cheap, they're fun, they're a lot of fun, they're cheap. You drive about an hour and a half from here, and you can get see some pretty good baseball,
Yeah.
and you get to see some stars because a lot of the stars are on rehab assignments, and they send them down to the minors to to get their timing and stuff back.
Right.
But it's nice to see these young kids make it to the majors. Hey, I saw that kid. Yeah, I know that. I know that kid's parents.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. That is cool. That is cool
Yeah,
to watch. A young player, in the minor league game, and then the next thing you know, they're playing in the majors. That is
yeah.
pretty cool.
It's kind of neat.
Yeah.
And yeah, and Corpus Christi. We're down here in South Texas. We're starved for any entertainment at all down here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean it's you're talking about in Star Wars, the planet where Luke Skywalker's from, Tatooine, the farthest star from the
Tattooing.
center of the universe.
Oh my gosh, Doug.
Okay, yeah,
We're
yeah,
the
or
we're
Ralph
the
Brooks
we're
would,
the we're that version of Tatooine then, huh?
yeah, or Ralph Brooks would say that's where we got dinosaurs still roaming down here. I saw a brontosaurus the other day, and but you can just drive, was it 90 miles away?
Yeah.
And you go to some sign of civilization, and you get to see you go to What a Nasty Field there in Corpus Christi,
Yeah.
Whataburger. We call it What a Nasty.
Yeah.
Now the field is okay. The stadium is fine.
Yeah.
It's just it's an inside joke with we that's what we call Whataburger down here.
Yeah.
What a Nasty. Yeah, and so that's good,
Yeah.
and it's good baseball and it's a lot of fun too. I can't say enough for minor league baseball. I mean, they have like, in between the innings, they always have something going on like cow milking contest or
Yeah.
three-legged races or some stupid thing like that or Elvis impersonator. At Corpus Christi, they have an Elvis impersonator. He goes around all the stands and stuff.
Oh wow.
Black guy,
Yeah.
black guy, yeah, Elvis, a black Elvis.
Yeah. All
And
right.
then they have Mr. T too.
Oh, do they?
The same guy. Yeah, one night he's Elvis, and the next night he's Mr. T.
Wow. Well, he's doing double
Yeah,
duty. All right.
yeah,
And then
he's
in the
versatile.
National League West, LA has clinched their division.
Dodgers. Everybody knew the Dodgers were going to clinch that division eventually,
Right.
but nobody thought that Arizona would be where they're at now.
Right.
Okay, and Arizona's heading for the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'll guarantee you that. San Francisco, they've kind of hit a roadblock. They're pretty much out of it now, I think. The Cardinals are in San Diego this weekend playing the Padres, and I think they were talking last night about the Padres had a somewhat of a chance of hitting the wild card berth, but the Cardinals beat them last night in
Right.
extra innings, and that pretty much knocked them out. So,
Yeah.
you know, Colorado's Colorado, right?
Right. Right. All righty. Well, that pretty much wraps up where we're at. Anything else, Doug, that you can tell us? Anything to watch out for this week?
Mm, I think next Sunday we should have a pretty good picture of what the playoff race is going to be. All the division, just about all the division winners have been decided already,
Right.
and the wild card teams will be playing. They'll be probably be decided because what's today's the 24th, so next week would be what, October 1st,
Right.
and I think by October 1st, we should have. There's still some close races out there,
Yeah.
you know, and a couple of close races. So
Okay.
Dodgers are in for sure, no question about it. It looks like the Dodgers and Atlanta is going to probably be in the National League division finals, but hey, you never know in these short series. Some team may get hot like Arizona or even the Cubbies. The
Right.
Cubbies may get hot.
You never know. You know, something will light their fire.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
righty, Doug. Well, actually, for next week, we're gonna probably have our show not during the weekend, but the probably Monday after that. So I won't be able
okay.
to do anything on the weekend, this coming weekend at this point. But definitely we'll be looking to see how the rest of this all plays out. And we've got a recap of the RNC debate um, coming up on Thursday, so it'll be fun to watch on
Yeah.
Wednesday. And I think there's going to be less candidates this time around, which will be a good thing, you know.
Well,
So,
I gotta say, is Asa Hutchins is in it for the long haul.
is he even
Okay,
in the debate?
I don't know if he's even invited or that
I,
guy, that governor in North Dakota.
oh yeah, yeah, the Microsoft guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he worked for Microsoft for many years as a vice
Oh, did
president.
he? Oh, I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't
he
know that.
actually started Great Plains Software, which was an ERP software provider back in the
Okay.
80s. And then Microsoft bought them out, and then he remained with Microsoft as VP of something and something for close to like 20 years, maybe 15, 20 years. So he is a high tech guy, but he's not getting much traction, you know. So,
No, and then I think that I think Chris Christie will probably be bowing out here pretty soon.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
a yeah.
yeah. I think the
Tim
one,
Scott though, I thought Tim Scott would be more popular than what he is, but his message has not got across. The same thing with Pence, but Pence was never that dynamic. He was a good vice president. Pence was a damn good vice president.
right, but he's
Trump
just
would
not
tell
a very
Pence,
good candidate.
"Hey, go,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, go do something," and here I want you to take care of this. And Pence would take care of it, no lip at all. He just take care of it.
right?
You know, he's a good
Yeah,
vice president, but
but
he's not. But
he's not somebody that excites the
I would
crowds.
I would like to see Vivek Ramaswamy,
Yeah,
get a little farther, you know, than what he is. But Trump, he's got such a big lead.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah,
he's got such a big lead. It would have to be something that would make him bow out. I think.
yeah, yeah.
And I mean, what hasn't been said about Trump? I mean, you remember, back in the day, there was a guy named a senator from Missouri named Eagleton. You
Yeah,
remember him?
yeah.
Yeah, and he was somebody's candidate, and he had a nervous breakdown when he was younger, and
Mm.
that came up, and he had to bow out of that. Okay, because Eagleton was in the Senate for
Oh,
many years, and they
yeah.
gave him the
I think I heard about that. Yeah.
yeah. Who's he with?
Well,
Yeah, who was
there's
he
not
with?
a
Was he
whole
with
lot.
Humphrey
I'm still
or
waiting for the. I'm still waiting for the prostitute pee video to come out of Russia.
nobody cares anymore. Nobody really cares. But there's been so much stuff on Trump. It's like, is it true or false? Maybe I don't know. And nobody really cares because it's just the Democrats are just digging themselves in the hole. The more and more indictments they got against Trump, the more and more popular he's getting.
Yeah,
I heard DeSantis say that yesterday on a Glenn Beck podcast.
yeah.
because Glenn Beck came up with a thing and said, it looked like you were gaining some steam, Governor DeSantis, but then when Trump started getting indicted for everything, you know, you lost your mojo, and Trump got it back, and
Yeah.
DeSantis said a few words about that he said that yeah, they want to make the Democrats want to get Trump in there as nominee, just make some more indictments. But
Yeah.
I don't know what else they could do.
Yeah.
They pretty much, you know.
Not sure. Not
And I
sure what
think
else
yeah,
could pop up.
I think there's Biden deal. I think next week Hunter he goes to court. He
Yeah.
couldn't get his Zoom meeting,
Yeah.
and so he's going to have to fight that traffic in New York, and like he has to. He's got a motorcade the whole time, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah, and I think they're gonna. I think you're gonna you may see Hunter doing some time.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens, Doug. But definitely, we've got that show coming up here on Thursday. So, all
Who
righty.
you gonna
Well,
have for your?
huh?
Who's gonna be your pundit, Danny?
It's gonna be the same person that does the show with me. So,
The gentleman from San Antonio.
yeah, yeah. If he's
Oh, so
available.
he's the one. Yeah.
Right.
So you're gonna have one conservative on her.
Well, who knows? We'll see what surprises come up. All righty, Doug. Well, that's it for this week's episode. Have a good, uh, restful week. Hopefully, I'll be here at the house and not at my other house that I was at. So, you know, we'll take it
Well,
one step.
hopefully
Huh?
I'm still being vetted. I'm still being vetted by the school system. Okay, so
Yeah.
we've got like what 8 million illegal migrants that come across. Okay, and they can go anywhere in the United States, but it's taken me 6 weeks now to get vetted by the Brownsville school system.
Oh gosh. Well, you know how that goes. All
Well,
righty.
waiting on them fingerprints, right?
Waiting on the fingerprints. All righty,
Waiting on the
Doug.
fingerprints.
Well, we will hook up the following week to get a better look at the playoff picture. Everybody, that is it for episode number 13 of Doug's Dugout. You can watch us on Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Twitter, or X. And if you are driving tomorrow and you want to catch us tomorrow, you can go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. So the Apple Podcasts and the Google Podcasts are audio only, and the Spotify you do have a choice if it's video or audio. So for those of you that have
Are we
missed the
still on
show,
X?
we're still on X, and our numbers are very, very good. Your numbers are extremely high. I think you know what? You have a lot of Yankees fans looking at the show. I don't know why they're looking, but they're looking. So, you know. But
God bless those Yankees.
all righty, Doug. Well, we'll see you next week. Have a good week.
Okay.
Have a good week,
Okay.
everybody.
Take care, Danny.
Bye bye.
Okay. Bye.